did you see that we finally got an update on Shin Megami Tensei V? Nope, that's a third-party game, but it's a big one. Yeah, about that, so that, Twitter leak was, fake. Yeah, I think so. Welcome everyone, this is Honest Restart, and this time we're talking about the Nintendo games. Where are they? We finally got a Nintendo Direct, the long rumored Direct that we've been talking about for so long. I was talking about before even the rumors that there would be some sort of major announcement. Is this what I was referring to? It wasn't. Because there wasn't any updates on Nintendo games, and that's what I still think we need to see. And I still think that's coming, we're going to be talking about that. But yes, we got the Nintendo Direct Mini Partner Showcase, and a lot of people are very disappointed. I'm glad we got to see Shin Megami Tensei V, and this other remastered version as well. I have never gone to the series before, but I know it's something that a lot of people are really excited about, and it's something I'm willing to give a try. So, that's pretty good, and I think there is definitely a potential good future here with the Partner Showcase, but yeah. We still haven't gotten any Nintendo games. We don't know what's happening for 2020, and definitely a lot of people are starting to get concerned that this year is not going to be very great at all from Nintendo, and obviously that's concerning because we want games to play, we want things to look forward to, and we have nothing right now. Paper Mario is out, and we don't know what's going on, so yeah, I'm kind of with you there that it's a little concerning, but I haven't lost all hope yet. I think there still are some good things to come. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Now before we jump into things, I first want to talk a little bit about my social media. There is a Twitter page, a Discord community, a Patreon page, and a Twitch channel. If you are interested in any of that, check it all out. It's linked in the description below. Now before we start talking about what sort of Nintendo games are on the horizon, when can we see these potential bigger, awesome Nintendo games, let's first talk about this Partner Showcase. What does it mean? What's going on with this? So I actually think this is a really good idea. Now hear me out, I know a lot of you didn't like it, and again, I didn't love that single presentation, but let's assume we already know that the Mario Remasters are coming, that we get a Breath of the Wild 2 trailer, that Metroid Prime 4 is far into development, and that there's a whole bunch of other really cool Nintendo games on the way. Let's say that's all set in stone and we know that, and there's announcements coming really soon. We take that into consideration, and then we look at this as a separate thing, as a separate entity where Nintendo will perhaps every month or so give us a small little direct mini partner showcase where they highlight some third-party games that are coming out in the near future. I think this is actually a powerful way to start delivering the Nintendo Direct. Not too long ago, we actually were talking about how Nintendo may change the Nintendo Direct a little bit, and my speculation at the time was that maybe they would look into how they could sort of divide the third-party announcements out of the first-party announcements, because when we watch these bigger Nintendo Direct that we haven't gotten since September of last year, but when we get them, they are awesome. There are lots of really awesome high moments, but there's so many games in there, not everyone is interested in every single little game. For most people, there are also some lows, and they can kind of drag a little bit, especially when it's a 30, 35, 40-minute presentation. So maybe Nintendo has been looking to different ways to start presenting the Directs, and maybe one way they're sort of considering is by taking these smaller third-party announcements out of their presentations and giving them their own separate presentations where people have the expectation that it's just third-party stuff, and then they see that and they can get excited about it, and people learn more about those games and they get the attention they deserve. And then when we finally do get the bigger Nintendo Direct presentations where they show us the big Nintendo games, it's just all highs. It's all really strong, compelling content for the core Nintendo fan base, and they are very exciting and they're more streamlined. I think this partner showcase could be a good sign for the future in terms of how Nintendo will start sharing information with us. We may start getting more announcements more frequently now, and that'll be a really good thing to see. But that's all with the assumption that there are some awesome Nintendo games to come, and Nintendo's not going to stop making games. Nintendo's one of the best publishers and developers in the world, and they have been for years. That's why we are in love with them, that's why we pay attention to their games. And on the Switch, things are better than they ever have been, because now Nintendo's focusing their development efforts on one platform. Ultimately, what that will eventually end up meaning is that we will see more Nintendo games on the Switch than any other Nintendo platform in the past, because they're focusing on just one. On top of that, we recently got news that Nintendo's moving away from mobile, So there's now even more importance, more focus placed on delivering good quality software on their one singular system, the Nintendo Switch. And on top of that, if you look over the years, Nintendo publishes well over 20 games every year. So even if this year is a down year, which, to be totally honest with you, it is definitely starting to look that way, there's still going to be a decent amount of games here. There's still going to be some good stuff. Another thing to consider, though, is that Nintendo has repeatedly told its investors their software plans for 2020 have not been delayed yet. However, we recently got an update on that information from a recent report, and this is what it says. Development schedules may be impacted due to the difference in development environment between working from home and in the office, since teleworking is implemented at the company and its partners. As a result, we may not be able to proceed with the release of Nintendo products and the start of services as planned. Nintendo will continue to conduct business operations by taking necessary measures so that it can continue to provide an environment in which consumers can enjoy its products and services while giving due consideration to the health and safety of its consumers and employees. So from this, what I interpret is that yes, delays are still a possibility, which the other statements also suggested, but this paints it in a way where maybe some of that has already potentially happened, and it could perhaps explain why we haven't gotten any announcements yet. And yes, I think we should be prepared for a slower year, but at the same time, I don't think it's going to be so slow that we won't be seeing any more games for 2020. Japan is starting to normalize with the whole pandemic right now. They've been working for quite some time. Things are going. They've been getting work done. And if anything, I'll say with the recent Treehouse footage of Paper Mario and also this partner showcase, it shows that Nintendo is starting to provide information about their games and they're getting back to a norm. So before getting into rumor territory and just looking at the facts, I feel like it is safe to say that some Nintendo games will be coming in 2020 and they have to be announced fairly soon. Paper Mario has just come out. There are no other known published Nintendo games with an actual specific release date for this year, so some announcements have to be right around the corner. They just have to be. Now, could they wait a little bit longer than we want? Yes. And do I think that it's ideal? No. Was it expected? No, because in the past, Nintendo has always at least had something known for us, something to look forward to before the next announcement is made. Like, when a game comes out, we would know what the next thing is coming. That's usually how it is, but right now, we don't know what the next thing is, and that is unusual territory, and I think a lot of that has to do with the pandemic. Yes, as I've said repeatedly, Nintendo has told their investors that the pandemic has not affected their software plans yet for this year, but that doesn't mean it hasn't impacted them to some degree. Yes, there are some delays. Do I think those delays are significant? Not in the grand scheme of things, but it could mean that we may have to wait another month or two before we start getting announcements, and I think that's what we're looking at here. Yes, we got into the whole hype cycle for the Nintendo Direct, and it was real, it's just not what we expected, but it was still a Nintendo Direct. But if you think about it, we had reports going back to a while ago where we were told that there wouldn't be an E3 Direct, and that was right, but also that we shouldn't expect a Nintendo Direct until the end of the summer, and we're still in the middle of the summer here, so, you know, as much as I would like to see a Nintendo Direct right now, it hasn't happened yet, and I think we have to wait a little bit longer. But how much longer do we actually have to wait? That's hard to say, but I'll tell you this. The way the Nintendo Direct Mini showcase appeared to me, the partner showcase, it seemed a lot like a Nindies Direct. Now, this partner showcase is definitely more significant than a Nindies presentation. There are bigger games with higher budgets with actual publishers there, so they aren't indie games for the most part. Cadence of Hyrule is kind of the exception there. But when you look at these Nindy showcases, usually there's some sort of major Nintendo announcement not too long afterwards. And the way it was presented to us, this partner showcase, to me it did seem like, okay, they're gonna start showing us this third-party information now, but the first-party information will be coming relatively soon. What is relatively soon? A lot of you guys have actually asked me about that in the comments, and I keep saying soon. What is soon? Well, I don't actually know, but I'll tell you this. It's not just myself that thinks it. Some insiders are also starting to agree now that September seems like the ideal time to release the rumored Mario Remasters. The rumored Mario Remasters supposedly are for all of the celebration for Mario's 35th anniversary, and that is actually in the anniversary month, which is September. So it does make sense for that to come out then. I think that's probably what's happening. And if that really is the case, well, we are in July now, so we're probably less than 2 months away from this potential release here, so news has to come really soon. It doesn't have to happen immediately, but really soon. Paper Mario was a very interesting case where it was announced 2 months before release. We might see something even crazier here with the Mario Remasters. In my opinion, it has to at least be a month in advance, at least. That way, there can be some preparation done in terms of marketing and pre-orders and stores actually knowing what's going to be in their stores. So I definitely think that there needs to be something really soon, but maybe not like tomorrow soon. We may still have to wait a few more weeks, but at least I think we will be getting an announcement for something in September, at the very least. Even if we don't get anything in August, which would be disappointing, I still think we have to get an announcement fairly soon for whatever September holds, and I'm assuming it's going to be the Mario Remasters. Now, as for August, could we still get something in August? I think so. I think if it's like 3D World Deluxe that is rumored, as well as Pikmin 3 Deluxe that's also rumored, these Wii U port games that are already known quantities, I don't think there needs to be that much time in advance before they come out. So it wouldn't surprise me if one of these two games is sort of dropped on Twitter with some sort of trailer announcement really soon. Either that, or we do get an Nintendo Direct within the next couple weeks where they outline what's to come out towards the end of August, September, October, November, and December. I think there's a possibility of that. Now let's assume I'm right, and I might not be. Again, this is speculation, we don't know what's going to actually happen. But assuming our speculation here is correct, and we get Pikmin 3 Deluxe and the Mario Remasters, and that's all out by September, what comes out in October, November, and December? There's a lot of speculation to be had there. I've speculated that maybe we do actually get Zelda, but most people disagree with me, and that's fine. It may not come out this year. It's a huge game, and it might not be ready. I think there's a chance it could be, which is why I have hope for it, but at the same time, we haven't gotten any marketing on it. But I'll also argue, we haven't gotten any marketing on anything, and I don't think it's a good prediction to make to say that there won't be any Nintendo games this year. There will be, they just haven't announced them yet. But either way, let's say it's not Zelda, what else could there be? There is the rumored Metroid game, which I do think is in development, and I'm not talking about Metroid Prime 4 or Prime Trilogy HD, I'm talking about the 2D Metroid game that I think is being developed by Mercury Steam. I think that could very well be almost ready. Maybe that comes out this year. I think there's a good chance that could happen. If not that, what else? Well, what about the Mario Kart team? And when I say the Mario Kart team, I mean the ARMS team. They came out with ARMS back in 2017. This is 2020. Could they be almost done with the game? I think yes, and maybe it's almost ready, and maybe it could be a holiday game for this year. Before we got the whole F-Zero leak thing, I was already thinking there was a chance that F-Zero could come out this year, given the whole Smash situation, that eventually we should get F-Zero return, and I don't think Mario Kart is coming out this year, so it would make sense to have some sort of racing game come out this year. But then we got the F-Zero leak. Now, the F-Zero leak it's fake, okay? So basically, there's this Twitter page, we thought it might be real, but someone got a domain that matched up with Nintendo's. They went through the trouble of that, they got the account back in March, and they went through all this trouble just to get the attention to fake us out, and whoever you are, I hate you. But, whatever, you know, it's not real, which that's just the way it works sometimes, you know, with these rumors and leaks, you can't buy into it entirely. Oftentimes, there are fakers out there who just want to fake you out. That all said, I still think F-Zero will come someday, even if it doesn't come out this year. But the reason I brought this up now, because I am talking about this Mario Kart ARMS team, I do feel like they would be a very good fit to make a nice online multiplayer-centric F-Zero game. So maybe they could be working on that, or it could be something else entirely. Either way, I think the Mario Kart ARMS team has proven that they're pretty good at making family, multiplayer, competitive kind of games, so maybe we see something like that come out this year from that team. And if it's not them, what about Retro Studios? They haven't come out with a game since Donkey Kong Country back in 2014, in terms of fully ground up new games. They just had the port to the Switch, and that's it, nothing else. So it wouldn't surprise me if they have something else in the works besides Metroid Prime 4. I feel like now would be around a good time to maybe come out with it. So maybe we finally get an announcement from Retro Studios for a game besides Metroid Prime 4. I think there's a possibility of that as well. Another thing to consider here is that we've gotten reports that Nintendo wants to come out with a Zelda game every year, so maybe there's going to be another Zelda game this year. Now, there is the DLC for that indie sort of Nintendo collaboration product for Cadence of Hyrule, but that's what it is. It's a DLC for a game that came out last year that was a smallish project, and last year we also got Link's Awakening Remake. So if that's supposed to be the Zelda fix for this year, I feel like that would be not enough But at the same time, I think it should be noted that I don't think Nintendo should have to hold themselves to that rule of coming out with a Zelda game every single year. But I do think they want to. I think they want to continue to grow and maintain the Zelda brand. The Zelda brand has gotten bigger than it ever has been thanks to Breath of the Wild. So it wouldn't surprise me if they do have something else to come out this year, even if it isn't Breath of the Wild 2. What can that be? Well, my best bet would be Skyward Sword HD, which is not something that I think would make the most sense for this year, mainly because we already got Tokyo Mirage Sessions, a Wii U port back in January. We got Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, a Wii remaster back in May. We're supposedly getting Pikmin 3 Deluxe, 3D World Deluxe, and the Mario Remasters, all enhanced ports or remasters. If we also get Skyward Sword HD this year, that would be, well, just not enough original content from Nintendo in my opinion. Now I can see a scenario where maybe we get an announcement for Retro Studios or the Mario Kart team or something else from Nintendo that is a original game, and then they also throw in Skyward Sword HD on top of the Mario Remasters and Pikmin 3 Deluxe, and that would be a decent holiday season, I think. It wouldn't be amazing, it wouldn't be better than 2017 or 2019, but it would be decent, and I think that could hold us over until 2021. So to summarize, this is what I think is going on. This partner showcase is just third-party stuff. Maybe they could show some sort of collaborations, like Cadence of Hyrule is a hint towards that, so maybe in a future showcase, maybe we get information on Bravely Default 2, or No More Heroes 3, or even Bayonetta 3. That's a possibility, and it wouldn't surprise me if we see these smaller third-party update mini-directs every month. I think there's definitely a possibility for that. They did suggest that there would be more coming. In terms of first-party Nintendo games, I think at least we will be getting an announcement fairly soon, because I do think, even if we don't get something in August, there has to be something for September. My bet is the Mario Remasters, which have been long rumored by credible leakers that actually have insider information that have been proven to be right on several occasions here, so I don't think it's wrong. I think this is definitely going to happen still. So I think an announcement for that, at the very least, is right around the corner. And based off the way the partner showcase was presented to us, I do feel like it was a little bit like a Nindies showcase, not quite, but similar. So it wouldn't surprise me if a week or two from now, perhaps a little bit longer, we get an actual Nintendo Direct announcement. But because it seems like Nintendo is pulling away some of their third-party announcements with these showcases, whatever this Direct is, if it's a mini or a full-scale Direct, it's going to be more first-party, Nintendo-published focused kind of games. So it'll be more concise, and there'll be more highs and less lows. And that would be pretty cool to see, and that may be how Nintendo sort of markets their games moving forward. And even if this year ends up being a slower year than previous years, that doesn't mean there won't be Nintendo games. Nintendo will not lie to their investors. They still have plans for 2020 that have not been derailed by the pandemic. I do think some games are coming. Maybe it's the Mario Remasters, maybe it's Skyward Sword HD, maybe it's a crazy awesome game like Breath of the Wild 2, or something unannounced that we don't know about yet that could also be really cool. Announcements will come. We just have to be patient. I know it's been a tough year, guys, but things are coming, and I don't think we have to wait that much longer. So we will have to just wait and see. Anyways, everyone, this is On Just Restart. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'll see you all really soon. Take care. Bye.